minutes to master, tools to explore. Let your imagination soar like never before. AI Tool Time with Rick McCarley, where your digital dreams come true.
Today's Tool Time is about LifeForce, trademarked. Yeah, so right now I'm working with my students as I do, right? I've been working on this whole process. Yeah, that's a real gorgeous version of me. If I want to date that man, holy cow. My goal is to actually get that healthy. How am I going to do it? Using AI every day, baby, just like a strong man does. So here we go. I'm going to walk you through. The idea is there's a device about the size of a hockey puck in your house, and we're still working on the branding. So I'm teaching this in my branding class. 18 students are working on the branding of the ecosystem that you're going to see the whole thing. All of this was created in either Gemini. Some of the stuff I've started to do, and you'll see the star in the bottom right-hand corner. That'll indicate it was made by Google's Gemini and Nana Banana. Yes, thank you very much. By me vibe coding my way through. It had a hard time to make just a regular version of me. Seems to want to do kind of an extra version. So the device is a device that has all your medical history. It has everything. It's watching basically your sleep, nutrition, your guidance, longevity insights. It's a longevity app. It's your family's private health care intelligence hub. Your data on your device, private, until you then go to your doctor and you can give access to whatever part of that information you need for your professional to help you with longevity plans. You can also take a look at your medications, and you can ask it questions all day and night based on a on-device AI system. So this is something you can actually make yourself, and I'm doing it. I'm cloning everything about me, and you're going to see my journey. So this is the original idea of is an 8 terabyte local brain, encrypted, running a local AI model, loaded up with how many different office visits you've had. Imagine every one of your dental records, medical records, your ancestry.com, and how many apps do you have? What if we connected all that mess together to privilege you at the center of your health and longevity journey? That's what this solves. So you know me, everything I teach every single time in every class, I set and create a moonshot. This is an impossible task, but we're already halfway through. By the end of this semester, which will be in May, well, I'm going to come back on the show and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. I've got a pretty good look at it, and this is what I've been using: Google Notebook LM, Gemini, and the full circle, all the Google tools. And I've also used a little bit, so this is Notebook LM. Again, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner of each one of these illustrations, you'll see where it was created. It'll either have the little diamond shape, which is Gemini itself, or it'll have Notebook LM. Cool, because I don't take that off because I want you to know where it came from, right? So your DNA, your history of medical records, everybody, you have rights to that because in the United States, we have rights to all of our stuff. All your dental x-rays, you can just request them. They're starting to make it more difficult. So stand your ground, be a dangerous person, and demand that you have rights. And you have rights to everything that they did about your body. That is the law of the land. Now, as in my doctor 20 years ago, those labs and all that stuff was paper. And they're in the process right now of digitizing. You're probably going to find every doctor's office, if you've been going to the same doctor, and if you're of a certain age like I am, those things have to be digitized. So that's going to take some time. You can pay for them to become digitized, which is fairly expensive. Or you can go to Turkey or to Costa Rica, which is what I'm going to do, and get a full body scan of everything: MRIs, heart scans, stress tests, blood work, everything, right? Dental records, your knee replacement surgery, your heart replacement, your breast cancer, your whatever you've had happen in your life, every scan, every lab result, every doctor's note for your entire lifetime, digitized, harmonized, creating a single cohesive narrative of your health. So here's just something about old age and fat, right? So what's the vicious cycle that I'm going through? Why do I have my stomach gut is constipated right now? Because I'm taking Monjuro. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Why am I losing muscle mass? Monjuro actually causes you to reduce muscle mass, which also makes this cyclical problem a vicious cycle. So what am I doing? I'm waking up every morning. I'm doing 20 to 30 minutes of warm-up exercises, and then just 5 or 10 minutes worth of weightlifting. Then I'll do the meditation at night. And so I'm getting myself trained to get ready to be the most beautiful, dangerous man I can be, to be the healthiest version of myself I can. So what doesn't work? All these things. You've already got an Oura Ring, maybe. You've got an Apple Watch. You've got a Peloton. You've got MyFitnessPal. You've got all these devices that should be communicating, but they're not. And who should be at the middle of that? I should. So you should have a device that maybe is a pendant, maybe more attractive than this, and I'm going to show you a couple of versions, that all keeps all this information. So as you're putting food into your mouth, it's tracking what you put in. So MyFitnessPal, you can photograph the QR code on your public stuff that you buy, and you keep track of when you put it in your fridge and when you take it out. But then what do you do with all that data? You then go to your doctor and you've got a sheet of paper that has, here's my whole history. Here's my complaints I want you to address while I'm here for the 20 minutes I got to talk to you. You send that to them before your event. They know it. They've loaded up on their little transparent data sheet here, right? And then this device then becomes a lifesaver. It's a life extension device, putting you at the center. So what's it built on? Your ancestral history. 23andMe, your Ancestry.com. Highly recommend Ancestry.com, not 23andMe. 23andMe has all kinds of problems, including bankruptcy and a bunch of other stuff. They're using you. So they're not, this is my editorial opinion. This is my opinion. Don't use them. I stopped using them. And I'm also found out a bunch of stuff about my ancestors with Ancestry.com. And I'm going to get a copy of my DNA, which I'm going to load into my system. Your lifetime medical history, everything you've ever done, you're entitled to it under HIPAA law, MRIs, blood work, clinical notes, okay? Real-time data, moment-to-moment inputs. That means you exercised, you did a blood oxygen test after you exercised, you looked for how much hydration you have with the scale that we just talked about, and then you have medical supplements. So what does that look like? Here's all your devices, and think about how many you have. And I'd like you to post in there what animals are, what applications and what devices do you have that help you? So you go, Freestyle Libre is one of them, and Dexcom. That's for type 2 diabetes, right? The Oura Ring is for sleep and readiness. That's a damned expensive device. And my only problem with it is there's a monthly payment too, if you really want to get the use out of it. Your blood, the Withing scale, like the one that I have as well. Those are all great. Zoe, I think that's, tell me what that's for. I think that's for menstrual cycle, stuff like that. Chronometer, Apple Health, the whole Fitbit, Apple Health kind of environment. So what's the problem today? Over 12 million adults per year are misdiagnosed in the United States, leading to death. That's 30 to 40 people every single day that aren't getting the right information. Now, imagine that you're sitting there in the Eiffel Tower, you're eating this food, and it tells you what everything's going on. And it knows you got a travel date, and it knows, you want to keep healthy and whatever. Your glasses are doing that, plus telling you how to walk over to the Eiffel Tower, go up and down it, and how many calories you're going to use in doing it. So it's a life tracker. So this is what I literally do. That picture in the middle, that was my daughter gave me all these supplements, and I bought a couple. So I bought the one a day. She gave me the Ohm, and she gave me some other ones. There was magnesium, super important. I was getting cramps like crazy. Magnesium is definitely what I do, but you got to take it the right way. With other things like vitamin D doesn't go in your system unless you take it a certain way, with other nutritions. So it doesn't hit your body correctly if you don't take it in the right way. But this is like a giant puzzle trying to figure this out. Guess what you got? The world's largest brain ready to work for you. All right, so even the food, right? So your pendant can literally see every bite of food. When you leave half the plate at Caraba's restaurant, right? You leave half the plate, you take it away in a bag. It knows you ate half the plate, and it's counting those calories. Then when you go exercise, it tells you, am I neutral for the day? Did I burn off 2,000 calories? Did I eat 2,000 calories? Oh, I'm trying to lose weight, 1,800 calories. Not enough sugar, too much sugar. Boom. Type 2 diabetes, whatever you got going on, right? And then hydration. So I found out because I went to the emergency room. I was sick for 7 days and I was sweating off everything and I wasn't replenishing anything. So there's different things you do if after you exercised that you don't do if you're just trying to hydrate in the morning. So lemon and sea salt in the morning, and then working out, you want creatine and electrolytes. And the evening, you want some chamomile tea and ginger. No caffeine after 1 p.m., et cetera, et cetera. So this is for me. So this is not your medical advice. I'm just showing you what I've done. My breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I told the kind of foods that I like. So here is what I can live with. So I literally am picking up these ready-made meals. For lunch every day, I'm having salmon and greens, some asparagus, etc. Right? Zinc, collagen. So it's basically doing it. So for those people in branding and advertising and marketing, this is the marketing campaign that I'm working with my students right now. So I showed them this. So there's the product and the materials. So we're going to do a mock-up, including all the materials. We're trying to decide whether it should be shiny, silver, gold, what's going to make people feel good, what does the pendant look like, even the manufacturing. So we may actually go make this thing for real, at least a mock-up, so we can show it off to clients and potential customers. So the idea, central nervous system, on-device AI, privacy and consent, daily digest, smart home integration, synchronized with your lights and your security and your car. So you've already noticed if you have a G device, I'm going to say that because I've got one in my home, right? So put in the code, anything you're kind of liking and you're thinking, magnesium glycinate. Thank you very much, Jeannie. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm listening to you guys. So you want to have this control. You want it to privilege you. In fact, one of the most important things I've learned and I'm teaching to my design students, and I call them design, not graphic design, because what I say to them is you're born to solve the world's problems, to figure out what they are. And it comes from my dad saying the same thing. So I imagine ChatGPT. So this is just me figuring out what is ChatGPT coming out with? What is Johnny Ive? Yes, the genius behind every Apple device, including the iPod and the iMac and the colorful iMacs, all that stuff. That's him, Sir Jonathan Ive, right? He is making a device that's going to be a health-related device for OpenAI. Look for it this summer. Maybe, I don't know. Brandon just talked about the pencil idea. That's already coming out. A couple of people are thinking that that's a great kind of device because you put it in your pocket, it kind of reads and records. The glasses are kind of working okay. I wear glasses, so to me, that's a natural way to go into it. So what is it doing? All the medical information. So it's keeping your heartbeat and everything else. It's also loaded up with all your information about what you ate, what you did, and you ask it questions constantly. I like the glasses because they have focused earbuds, so your sound, you hear it. So if I'm talking to someone in Spanish, I can give them my phone, if I trust them, and then I can say, you read this, or you're going to be spoken to in Spanish, and I will hear you in English when you speak. So that's already there. It's on Apple devices, by the way, yes, and it works with the iPad, all the devices out there. So you have proactive control. So the idea is to create a digital twin of yourself, and you can test that out. What if I ate this? What if I ate that? So predictive analysis. And then what do you do with the doctors? The doctors now have 1,000 points of light about you. They know what you ate, and they know that what you ate was something that made you allergic and made your throat close up. So that conversation that I had with my doctor about the rice problem is something I can have really easily. So the idea that your ambient sensor captures all the context, your conversations, your data, it also reminds you, what's that student's name again? I can always forget that student's name. And then it'll remind you, oh yeah, it rhymes with, right? And then you're going to remember it. So as I get older, I'm really looking forward to a pair of glasses. I also am worried about people's privacy. I had one student that wore the glasses, and I said, for the purposes of me lecturing, you can turn it on, but you must turn it off when other people are speaking to keep the privacy and sanctity of the classroom open and safe space. I'm recording my conversation on my own phone all the time, and then I transcribe it into notes, and I can transcribe it into Spanish, English. So you have a condensation. So if you're absent that day, you have on the OneDrive, Microsoft's OneDrive is what we use at school. You have all the notes from that day's assignment. So we have study buddies also. So that's another thing. But what can it tell you about what you've got in front of you? So here's what it would look like in the real ecosystem. So you've got a home hub, you've got a pendant, you've got a pair of glasses. So maybe it's a ring, a pendant, It's a glucometer on your arm. It's all these things together. So this is just this is ChatGPT, actually, I think. Yeah, this is ChatGPT, which did a pretty decent job. And this is just kind of like the all black and smartphone kind of thing. So these are your points of input. And then under emergency circumstances, imagine that you had your son goes to the beach and gets caught in undertow, and the EMT has arrived. What happens? They have an activation key that unlocks whatever it is about your son. It's wearing a pendant, got a little device underneath your skin. They have access instantly. They contact you. You meet them at this hospital. They tell you the condition en route of what's going on with your son. You remind them that he has a glucose intolerant or can't take penicillin, blah, blah, blah. So all the information gets unlocked for your gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper of your data. You're the one that authorizes the user for limited time access. So they have the access for what they need. You decide what that is. That's true HIPAA compliance. Thank you very much. You don't have to worry about some break-in, which happens all the time. Just ask AT&T. Just ask any of the companies. Have any of you had one of those calls where you say, we'll give you a year of safety stuff because we didn't do our safety checks right? That's going to happen. This I did a year ago in preparation when I was first thinking about this. You see all the misspellings, right? This is to show you how bad things were. This was pretty good, I thought. ChatGPT took 3 minutes to generate this, but that's pretty cool. That's kind of what we're actually going to look for and we're going to try to create with my student in my class. Now imagine that your food, if you order online or if you use AI to do your inventory for your refrigerator, every single meal you sat down to can be custom designed for you and each one of the people in your family with their own particular needs, tastes, and health in mind. No planning, no stress. It's there in the fridge. And if it's a ready-made meal that you got from any of the many, delivering companies, or if you order online with Amazon or whoever you get your food from, Publix for me, right? And then here's the advertising. So this is my Gemini chat where I talked about, I don't quite like while you sleep, we watch. That's the only one that I gave it feedback on. So here's my go-to-market analysis for the program. And so we're not right now, I'm using Notebook LM here. You can see we're loading up LifeForce with private information and we're not private information with the pitch deck, with all the stuff that we created and generated, over 300 pages of documents so far. And then we're going to put it into all the stuff you're seeing right now. So this came out of Gemini directly. And this was a color palette chosen. And the promise of tomorrow, yellow, that's my direction because I'm a designer. The orange glow, that's a LifeForce vitality symbol. So this is called, if you're not familiar with design thinking, is that you want to give a story of why you pick the colors. So the foundation is a very dark gray, foundation neutrality, clarity, white, purity, the promise of yellow, tomorrow. So that's longevity and health. And the LifeForce within, that's the vitality, the orange glow, and the bright blue, action, insight, and clarity. Wow. So then it took the caduceus and this woman carrying the torch of your health, the LifeForce, and it made this logo. I did nothing. And I said, give me an app version. And I said, to decode your personal health data into actionable intelligence, empowering you with the clarity, control, and the vitality to live your best life through a simple camera-powered companion. Camera-powered, we changed over. So this is a one-shot prompt, right, that got me this. And then it gave me these ideas, marketing strategy built on radical trust. LifeForce is going to be trademarked soon. We're still working on that. Proactive control, design experiences. So we're designing right now. That thing you see in the middle, that's what my classroom of 20 students are now doing. We're finalizing all the sketches. We're iterating and coming up with. Then we're going to make tangible products at the end. What does the software look like? We have a separate class, UX UI, where we're testing and we're trying to go through all of the different things that you can see here, right? What's it look like? How does it look better? How do we steal everybody else's ideas of what an interface should look like? I think this looks horrible. It should have pictures. It should be a lot easier to kind of ideate and think about. What's the form factor? So we're going to actually test out what the best form factors are. And do we need video? Yes, I think we do. Do we need audio? Do we have it on device, even that Pendant? Could it have a large language model on device? Yes, it could, or a mini version, right? Ooh, here we go. So this is actually stolen from some of the companies out there. So on the left, you've got scanning for meds and supplements, scanning food. So these are quick actions, right? So weekly action plan, workout coach, doctor visits, ask LifeForce. So there's your built-in AI right there. And then when you're scanning, whether it's food or meds or QR codes, it scan all the stuff in. So that builds up everything. And then your action plan, that's what you see on the right. So you've got a calendar met for when you do what, right? And then you click on it just like your regular calendar. And what if it actually embedded into your regular calendar? So you have my calendar appointments, who I'm meeting with, what am I doing? I'm doing a Zoom call on Saturday, right? Then you've got a health little button and you subscribe to all your data. So you carry it with you everywhere you go. Then you print out something you put on your fridge. Here's my workout schedule. It's sitting right over there on my wall in front of my mirror so I can watch my form when I work out with the weights. Wow. Then I go to a doctor's visit. Take a look at this. I need to walk more. I need to stretch. Here's your timing. So there's your personalized calendar for you. I'm going to see my doctor. Let's print out the summary notes. Bam. And you've got Google's Gemini, I'm hoping, built right in. And of course, if it's Apple, that's what I'm doing, right? So you've got your metformin for blood. And so this is literally, and that's why my problem on the right was the gut brain. This is my paperwork from July of last year. Where
Eric, just a quick time check on our landing the plane. Are we still going for another 10, 15 minutes, or are you?
Yeah, but you can go ahead and go, and I'll close out everything in there at the end. Are you have anything comments you'd like to make at this point? Or you're
this is I want one.
Yeah, right. And it's actually possible to make one right now. We have the technology, which is kind of
all right. You keep going. I'll pop back in at the end. I'm just going to go down the digital studio and get Kyle kicked off here.
All right, great. Thank you, sir. So here I am, and this is all the medication I'm taking. There's all my supplements. So I went through the supplements and I had it order me other things. So there's my potassium citrate gummies, right? Electrolyte Health and Muscle, etc. I think that dose I switched up. Then I had all these questions. So I took this to my doctor, my endocrine care center on Sterling Road, right? And then I gave him this on the right. So I had 475 was my sugar rating. Yes, that is absolutely near death. Why? Because it impacted all my bowels for a week. And then the methane and the ammonia went to my brain, shut my brain off at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I almost died. Okay, so Monjuro brain fog, that's a real thing. Do be careful with these things. Even if you're taking other GLPs, still be aware that there are consequences and can be problems. Hydration is a big problem with combination of the medication I was taking, not being hydrated, and these extra impacting gut problems. So I went through and I said, here's my reference sheet. I sent this, I emailed it to my physician, my endocrine care person I've been seeing for 10 years. He always gives me more medication. So I'm switching to a new doctor very soon. But anyway, and then I start to go on my journey. So here's the brand voice, here's the podcast. So we're thinking about long-term interviews. We're thinking about telling personal stories. We're thinking about having influencers who are doctors like Dr. GPT to ethically help guide us. And that's what I'm hoping. He said February, probably the first week of February, that Thursday. Come back and stay tuned, because we're going to have one of the world's leading experts from the emergency room practice, where he is a consultant worldwide on AI. How do we do this safely for us? All I've talked about so far is just, I want to know all the questions. I want to ask them all so I can prepare for my meeting with my doctor. That's a very short period of time. That's very expensive. Imagine those people who have no health care because they just can't afford it in America. That's a sin that we can talk about another day. And that's what we need to get in good trouble and make happen. Healthcare for everybody is a public good. It's a public trust. And if we are truly, we the people of the United States of America, it's an absolute must-have in America, because 64 countries ahead of us have successfully done this. To even think we couldn't, we always think we can do better than everybody else. We'll put that goal out there. Make public health care for everybody free. And while you're at it, community college for free. I'm not saying everybody needs to go Harvard and Yale, but you can pay the $3,000 it takes for a student to go through my program, get a 2-year degree, and walk out making $60,000 a year. That's what my students have been doing for the last 25 years, making a good living, doing a simple 2-year diversion in their life to get information. And I am so proud that I have done right by those students, including all the way in on AI and humanities, designing and problem solving for everyone. So this is what my life built purpose is. I'm a dangerous man who lives a dangerous life by being good for especially the community college students. I've dedicated 25 years of my life. I built the program, I write the curriculum, I rewrote it 7 times because we're not doing print graphic design. You're not going to work for magazines. I've introduced the first, and we have national accreditation, National Schools of Art Design, which is 3% of graphic design programs in the United States. We have that and have had it for 7 years now. That was because I put together over 3,000 pages of documents with my colleagues throughout the art department of Broward College. We have that certification. So we are the best in the world. And they notated in their notes because they made 4 visits to us in person, looked through every single documentation. They sat in classes. They made notes on everything. I mean, they crawled through us. We are the best in the United States. Better than the University of Florida graphic design program, FAU, which I went to. We are better than all of them. And in 2 years, I guarantee you, if you're a good student, you will come out making great money and having a lifelong possibility of doing really amazing things for people. So that's what I was put here on earth for. That's my ikigai. So I'm doing my part. What are you doing? If you're not doing enough, give more love to the people that are around you. Support them in their journey because that's a noble cause. My mother may not have gone to work every day, but she showed up at work every day to work on me, to make me who I am. So thank you, Mom. Anyway, so the idea is, what do we do with this? We establish a whole new category. We think about the silver age, we think about the family, and we think about the clinician. Where is the professional in this? Don't try doing open heart surgery on yourself. You're going to have AIs already doing that kind of stuff, but your goal is also an emotional connection. Dr. Claire, I want to have you back on. I want to go much, much deeper. And I'd love for you to find someone who is sort of the AI guru of mental health care, because I think this is another very, very carefully. I do believe it's worth having a prescription based, so an authorized GPT customized for your goals. If somebody has anxiety disorder like my daughter did when she was in her 16, 17 years old, wouldn't it be great if 24/7 she could just talk to it? And it's loaded up by her doctor, ethically trained on exactly what should be said and what shouldn't. And there's a back door so that professional can be the guide on the side and be notified if there's an ideation for suicide, if there's a tragic moment, PTSD, if there's a tragic moment where you're jonesing for a drug and you just need somebody to talk you down. AI needs to be that, but it also needs to be super, super careful, because now we're entering into life-saving or life-ending sort of AI. We haven't been a great track record. Look at Grok, look at Facebook, look at all those things. This is going to take real hard work by really important people. So I want to make sure that I'm never saying anything on this show that would be unethical or ill-advised. So I do not recommend, if you've got serious problems, but if you're trying to break up with your girlfriend or decide whether you want to or not, and you're having a conversation with yourself, here's where you can have it. And at least you've got someone 24/7 to listen to you. So I think it's valuable in that. But if you've got real problems, use the advice of the AI, which hopefully is always going to say, call a doctor. You're at a point where I can't help you any further. Here's some phone numbers for you, right? So we're going to put this out there. We're going to do a campaign. We're going to show off this product. And I want this to be, the stage where we influence and we understand this. So your fridge is going to have knowledge of everything you put into it and then everything you took out. And then it's going to say, hey, Joey wants to eat this and he's tried chicken fingers. He ate the salmon last time. Let's try that, but let's put a little glaze on there so it's got a honey taste instead of a fishy smell, right? So it's just going to be that kind of guardian that's private and to you, that looks great and that integrates with your lifestyle and doesn't become an extra another one of those apps you got to synchronize and get to work for you. So here I am with my this is me in the emergency room and why I almost died, and this bidirectional gut-brain axis and microbiome and intestinal gas from constipation could trigger vagus nerve, causing chills and anxiety. Monjuro and brain fog, that's a real thing. Look it up. So this is my actual medication. I photographed it. There's the stuff I was taking at the time. I photographed it and it made a list for me. So I went to my doctor. There's my medication. You know what the first 10 minutes of every meeting for 10 years was been with my doctor? Now he's in his 70s, getting ready to retire, and he's not going to be my doctor anymore. But this is why. He would ask me what medications. You're the man that gave me all these medications. What the hell, dude? Why are you wasting 10 minutes, the 30 minutes I got with you to go over that again? And then he gets my information. So here's what I gave to him. I have anxiety and energy issues, digestive discomfort, hair loss, and skin changes. And here's my supplements I've taken. Now, if he had this, if any good doctor, nutritionist should be. Now, I understand he's an endocrinologist. That's not his thing. He's a specialist. I'm now going to a holistic doctor, and that's where I hope to find my pathway to having agency in the discussion of my health. I'm the one that has life and death on the line, right? That's what I've got going on the line. What does that doctor have? I'm one of 30,000 patients they're seeing. Heck. So then I took all here's my blood work. Don't look too close. It's not good. Here's my A1C. It's not too good. I think it was 7 at the time. But I got down to 5 and then it went back up and trying to figure out what happened. So I literally fed that in and then I got this information out. And then I got a list of supplements that were working and weren't working for me. So medical action to take, sesame care. So then I actually found my doctor, my new one that I'm going to go to starting next week, off of ChatGPT. And it's a woman in Plantation that's working with AI. So I'm hoping she's going to be all in, and she's agreed to meet with me and talk about an hour about exactly what I'm doing here and see if she can work with me to really privilege me in my health journey. And I want to be patient one, right? Don't you all want to get on there and have it be like, a lifelong thing you can do? So here's real things I can do with that. So my next steps is to eat this, right? Turkey bacon, avocado, and 2 eggs, right? Add chia or flax for fiber, right? Try cauliflower and rice. So it's things that I like, I don't like. I can actually talk to it and figure something out. So I like steak, chicken, salmon, broccoli, and occasional spinach. All right. So it then made it for me. And then I take that information, all that junk, and here's what I got: actionable stuff that I can take every day. So after the workout, I need certain things. This is, again, an older version using ChatGPT. I've updated this. So this is as bad as it's ever going to be. In fact, it's already improved. There's my workout schedule. There's my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I can get it to order if I did use for a while those online services. Love to get people's opinions in the chat there as to any ones that you've tried and you actually found useful. I tried 3 different ones. Wasn't crazy about the food in 2 of them. And the third one, I didn't use it effectively because my schedule is so flexible. Yeah. So then what do you do? And then this is Dr. Harvey Castro's. So this is what we have to look forward to. So the knowledge base of medicine doubles every 73 days. This is a presentation I helped him revise with some new information. This is the information, the slide he had. And this is a slide I created. And then it's what we don't know that will kill us, as I've already demonstrated. The human mind, empathy, experience, intuition, and then you have the AI mind, pattern recognition, real-time insights, data analysis, save lives, etc. And then this is an example that he gave. Marie was told she has a heartburn, and 3 weeks later it was heart failure. To taking antacids wasn't working. Acid reflux was a result of. Now, here's just a real quick. This is my master's thesis. So I spent 7 years getting my MFA from graphic design. This was an installation that took up the entire museum. These posters you see here, the whole horizontal posters with McDonald's on the left, to a picture of me half naked when I was 18 and when I was 50 years old. That was right when I did my, I was the oldest graduate at the time. 2015 is when I did this entire thing. On the way in, you'll see it in just a second. So the exhibition was called Sugar Coated, and this was the entrance in. It's a sin, the condition we're in. 1 in 3 Americans are obese: mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, sons, and daughters. A smoker, a drinker, an addict. Sugar is worse. It's legal. You can buy it for pennies on every grocery shelf. It's subsidized by the government. It's pushed on kids. It's more addictive than cocaine. It's the second leading cause of preventable death behind cigarettes, which might be misleading because obesity, diabetes, heart disease, stroke are all related. 30% of kids are obese, don't exercise, tripled in 3 decades since the 1960s. Play is cut from most school days. Screens occupy them 40 hours a week. We still blame the victim, self-control. It's heredity, economics, culture, emotions, and more. Corporations want to supersize me and a lot more of dough, to make a lot more of dough. Think of all you cannot control. Sugar in excess is out of control, and stop being a part of making it worse and stand up and say you know. And you understand this curse? You may not be fat or bloated, but you know we are all sugar coated. This was an 8-foot by 9-foot piece of glass with this topography printed on it. It cost me $1,000 to make this. When you walk into the exhibition, that's what you saw. This is the number one. This is part of an exhibition. I used a Photoshop plugin that allowed me to make something that looked like sugar. I tried doing it practically. It just wasn't on the scale I was doing. So here's information about 29 million Americans have type 2 diabetes. 18 million of them are undiagnosed. So this is from 2015 evidence and information. Kidney failure, number one cause of blindness, amputation, 60%, $330 cost per month for treatment. Yep, that's still accurate. This is me. Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar tips the medicine go down in the most delightful way.
It's a great visual.
So as you walk into the exhibit, this is what you saw. I'm going to bring this along a little bit. So that's the end. And what I want to basically, the last piece was a projection 20 foot against the wall as people lined up. There were over 1,000 people who went through this exhibition. It was up for an entire 2 weeks in the museum downtown Fort Lauderdale. And when you walk in, this is projected on your body and you see your shadow on the wall. This is my son, who was 14 at the time, with a 50-pound bag of sugar, literally. I am sitting in wearing bathing suit in the tub with a black piece of tarp. My daughter is, the new iPhone had just came out and it had slow motion. He is pouring all 50 pounds, and the end of it, which you don't see here, you cannot see me. So I completely obliterated by sugar. So sugar coated was the thing. So when people walked in, this was the visceral reaction. And in the background was this. And there's other parts that are far more complicated. There was a table, and the table was black cloth, and it had in Braille all the words to helps the medicine go down in Braille around the outside. And then it had a plate, and each plate was the amount of the detailed descriptions of all these ideas. So anyway, it was life-changing. And this I think is was the birth of my Dangerous Man, the new version. You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing here and just go ahead and say goodnight to everybody.